Yo, so today I am making tuna salad. Everybody makes theirs a little differently. This is just how I like to make it. So the first thing I do is I take about, I like to do like maybe 2 eggs per pack of tuna. You can buy these frozen, it's really cheap. Well, these were kind of pricey. Well, yeah, so this is about $3, $3 to $4 each for a little piece of tuna. And so what I like to do is I like to just put, I like to just get my eggs going, and I like to start boiling my eggs right away because that takes the longest part of this process. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on high heat so that can boil. All right, so now while that's going, we will start with our tuna. So before we do that, we're actually going to poach them. The veggies I got that I'll add later, I just got a couple of celery and a couple pieces of carrots. I got some onion, a half an onion. I got some crushed, well, not crushed, we will crush it, but just a garlic clove. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get my pan ready because we're gonna actually poach it. But before we do that, we're just gonna add some stuff to it. So I'm just gonna pretty much just take some crushed garlic and just pretty much just throw that in there. And actually that should be enough because you don't need too much of that in there, but that's enough to get the garlic flavor in there. And I'm just gonna add some pepper. And then we're gonna add some sea salt. Alrighty, and then we're gonna basically grab a spoon and we're gonna take this over to the skillet side. Alright, and here I just have some of my allspice. You see my other videos before. I'll show you what I put into this, and usually what all I do is I'll just add just a little bit of that to the mix, just to make sure it has a little bit extra flavor. So then, next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna take some water, and we're just gonna pour some water in here, about halfway-ish. Doesn't need to be too much water, but just enough water to kind of soak it, so the fish will be sitting in a little bath. And then we will cut the heat on low, because this will be a long process. We'll take our time with it to get everything nice and make sure the flavor actually seeps into that. I'm also just going to take a spoonful of butter, and we'll just put a little bit of butter in there, just cause. Alrighty, and so that's pretty much how we're gonna cook our fish. If you want, you could add a little bit of pickle juice to that. Maybe add a little bit of wine if you want, a little beer. Actually, no, I'm not gonna add anything to it. I'm gonna leave it as is. I will add a little bit of olive oil though. Just a little bit of that. Alright, so now we got that. What I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much just going to, actually I'll get this going because I want this a little bit hot. But I'm just gonna take my fish and I'm just gonna plop them right in there, and you'll see it'll start to cook pretty fast. So let me go ahead and get a knife to get this out of the packaging. And now these were frozen initially. So what I did was I just I put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then by this morning they were thawed out. If you want to do it faster than overnight, you can just soak it in cold water. Just put the whole package in cold water, change it out regularly, and then it'll thaw pretty fast. Alright, so we got our water here. This is what we're going to poach the fish in. And we're just gonna heat it. I'm getting it hot now because I want it kind of hot. But then once this butter melts, it'll be ready. We'll kind of just drop the heat on it, and we'll just kind of let it do its own thing. I am gonna add some a little bit of basil to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of basil to this. Oh, there we go. A couple shakes of that. So yeah. So hopefully we get this butter to melt, and it looks like it's doing. Looks like it's doing pretty good. The water is heating up. You don't want to boil it. You want to do it nice and slow. So so the butter's pretty much, yeah. So the butter pretty much melted. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on low heat. And then we're gonna take our tuna. Be careful, we're just gonna drop that in there. There we go. And then I have a bowl. So when I'm done with the tuna, I'm gonna put it in this bowl with some of this liquid to cool it. I'll show you guys that in a second. But as you said, I got my eggs. Actually, we'll bring our eggs up here. Got my eggs boiling. So that's good. And then now I got my tuna. And then pretty much I'm just gonna take some of the water with the oil and all those herbs, and I'm just gonna baste it. Now, if I want, I could just let it sit in here while I chop my veggies, but the veggies don't take that long to cook at all. I mean, the veggies don't take that long to chop up at all. All right, so once we get into the pan like this, we're going to just baste it with all our butter and oil sauce. So you'll notice it's starting to turn color. That's because it's cooking, and I don't want to rough it up too much because I don't want it to break apart on me. If it did, then I would just have to strain all the water out. But for the most part, you want to keep it as whole as possible. Keeps all that tuna juice. And then there's a little garlic clove. I got my eggs over there boiling, and pretty much this is all you do here is just slowly baste it. In a little bit, we will flip them over so that way the other side gets cooked. But you could probably do it this way all the way, actually, because it will, it will cook like this. But you definitely, now some people eat their tuna medium well-ish or medium. For tuna salad, you want it to be all the way done. So that's that. Yeah, so as I'm basting it, it's getting nice, and you see the top's cooking really good. It's starting to flake apart a little bit, some of that meat. So what we'll do is we'll just we'll flip it now. I'm gonna actually use the spoon to flip it. There we go. So I'm just gonna get up under it, and it's very delicate. It will fall apart on you, but we're gonna do our best to keep that together. All right, there we go. Alrighty, there we go. And then we're just gonna continue basting it. And then even if it does like pull apart a little bit, you could just throw some of that liquid in the center of it, and that'll get it seasoned very nicely as well. And that's pretty much it. We just you can let it sit for a while. Tuna doesn't take that fast to cook. As of now, let's see where we're at. Yeah, so we still got a lot of pink on the inside, but we'll just let that sit and poach for a while, and then we will move on to our vegetables now. Actually, I'm gonna cook this a little bit longer, so we'll bump it up to a medium-ish. So we'll cook it a little bit faster. But we got all the butter and the. Now, if you want to add a little lemon in here, you can. Whatever little flavor you want to add to your tuna, you definitely can. But this is how I do mine. It comes out pretty good. There we go. So then I just kind of move this around. Now, this smells really good. It looks nasty. It looks all gunky and oily and fishy, but it smells really good. But that's kind of what you want to go for. And this is just the this is just us infusing flavor into the tuna itself. But we don't want too much. I don't want to distract it too much. Because I do like the taste of the tuna. But it's nothing wrong with adding a little bit of spice in there, just because, Alright. The important thing here is I don't want to sear it or anything. I mean, maybe that might be good. Maybe we'll try that. Maybe we'll do seared tuna salad. We'll do that on the grill one day. So I'm just gonna flip this over again. And then there we go. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. So we're at like medium. We're at like a medium rare-ish on the tuna. Actually, you know, I'm gonna try a piece, see how it is. I actually never had a medium rare tuna piece. Oh, that's pretty good. A little tangy. Okay. All right. So don't eat all your tuna while you're making it, because you won't have any left over. But oh, it is pretty good. All right. So I'm gonna cut this on low. I'm gonna let that do its thing. My eggs are still boiling. So I'm gonna go over to the vegetables. We'll chop. All right. So now for the vegetables, pretty much I just got just a half an onion, and I got some carrots and a couple pieces of celery. And then for my seasonings, I'm gonna add, I got a little bit of chili powder, some garlic powder, a little bit of salt, mustard, mayonnaise, salt, pepper. There's the mayonnaise here. And then I got some honey for sweetness. So what I'm gonna do actually is now when you make the tuna, you kind of want it to get you want your veggies to be chopped as small as possible, because you know, you want everything to be nice and smooth. You don't want it too chunky. So what I'll do is I'll just chop off the ends there, and then it's really, yeah, it's like really precise. You gotta be, but you want it as small. You want it as finely chopped as possible. So take your time. You got plenty of time while the tuna's doing its thing, you know. And I always chop more than what I need, and then I can just add it to it as needed. And this should be more. This should be about more than enough, because I don't want to bite into my tuna sandwich and it's just too vegetable-y. So then what I'll do is after I dice it up that way, I'll just kind of go over with the knife again. And I'm using one hand because I'm not fast, so. And I don't want to chop my finger off. All right, there we go. So that should be good enough there. And then for my onion, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take off this skin layer, because we don't need that. And there we go. And then we'll just chop that side off. And then we want the onion as finely chopped as possible. So I'm going to make a bunch of cuts this way. And then I'm gonna come here with it, and then I'm gonna go up above a little bit, and then really nice and precise, just barely cutting it like a blade's length, I would say. But yeah, you definitely want it chopped up as fine as possible. Alrighty, so that's that. And then now for the carrots, what I like to do for the carrots is, because they're kind of a pain, because carrots can be kind of a pain to chop, what I'll just do is I'll just get like a cheese grater, and then you can just run that. If you want it on the thicker side or on the thinner side, we'll go thin. And then the carrots are sweet, so that will kind of take away some of the bitterness of the mayonnaise. If you want to use Miracle Whip, because that's sweeter too. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'm pretty much just shredding my carrot over the cheese grater. It's gonna get messy. You're gonna get carrot pieces everywhere, but that really saves a lot of time. And because I don't know, something about a carrot, I just cannot cut it small enough to what I want it to be. It's very hard and rigid. And that should be enough carrot, I think. All right, so now I'm gonna go back and check on my tuna. All right, so we got our tuna. It's been sitting for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it one last time. There we go. And then I'll just kind of break it apart a little bit just to check. Wow, we still got some pink inside. That's crazy. Alright. Looks like it's going to take longer than what I thought. So we'll just, we'll just keep cooking it slow, because then the more that sits like that, it'll continue to have those flavors in there. And just keep basting it like that. Cut the heat on a little medium now. We'll do that. Yeah, and you know, that's actually not a bad idea. So I'll break it a little bit, and then we'll just baste the water, the herbs, the butter right in there. And but we don't want to. I don't want to sear it, and it's not going to dry out because it's sitting in all this juice. So there's that. All right, so my eggs look like they're about done. I'm noticing one of them cracked and it didn't spill out, so eggs are about done. I'll let that. I'll just let it boil for a little bit longer, just in case. We got our tuna here. Tuna's still doing its thing. So yeah, we'll just wait a little bit. We got our veggies chopped over here. We got our seasonings ready. I'm actually gonna put all my seasonings in like a little cup. Actually, yeah, we'll do that now. So for my seasoning, I really don't have like a certain ratio. I just kind of eyeball everything. But definitely some black pepper. And I like my black pepper freshly ground too. It just has that extra layer of flavor. It tastes crisp. It tastes fresh and crispier, if that's a word. Alright, so now we got some mustard. Some ground mustard that I'm going to add to there. A little bit of chili powder. Just cause. And you don't really need too much seasoning in there, because it's really flavorful. You're going to add your veggies in there. But if you just want to take it a little bit up a notch. Alright. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the consistency I go for. That's pretty much the color I go to. I might add a little bit more in the tuna actually. So, but that's how I do it. I start off with a little bit. I'll add some. You can taste it. If you want it a little bit more sweeter or saltier or pepperier, you can just add it, adjust it accordingly. But oftentimes I'll do this when I'm making seasonings and I'm waiting. When I make my blends, I'll just add little by little until it gets to enough of what I want. And that way I don't kind of mess it up. So that's done. So we'll just, right now we'll just wait for our tuna to be done, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so now we're ready to, our tuna's nice and fully cooked. We're ready to do the next part. So the next part of this, we're just gonna, now it kind of fell apart on me, but that's okay. So we're just gonna put our tuna in a bowl. Like so. And now you can either, so what I do is I'll put it like this. You can either let it chill down room temperature. What I like to do though, or yeah, you can let it go down to room temperature, then mix your stuff in there, and then you can then chill it all later. What I like to do is I like to put all my tuna and all the water that I cooked it in, I put it in this bowl, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this bowl in the freezer. It's not gonna get frozen, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But if you're gonna be busy or if you get distracted, and just put it in the refrigerator so you don't freeze it. I can't imagine what that'll do. But so I'm gonna take this, throw this right in the freezer, so that way it cools down a lot faster than I would if I left it in the fridge. So we'll do that. Alrighty, so we're gonna put this in our freezer. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, so I got it right in the freezer, right there in that bowl, and we're gonna close it. And so this should, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna go in there, stick my finger in the water. If the water's cold, then I know it's good. Yep, that's pretty much it. So now we got our veggies. And what we'll do is we will just mix all our veggies together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all my onions and my celery and my carrots. Just going to mix all that in together like that. And then hopefully it's the consistency you want, and it's the right amount of, hopefully it's even the way you want it to be. If it's not, you can always just add a little bit of, you can chop up some more carrots or chop a little bit more onions or whatever. I'm going to add my seasoning to it that I've mixed up. And then we'll just stir it like so. There we go. And that's easy, simple as that. You can squeeze some lemon juice in here if you want. I would, but I don't have any lemon juice. But that's good enough. That'll just sit like that. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. So we got our tuna in the freezer. And we're putting our veggies in the refrigerator. And yeah, so we'll just wait for that to get cool. It should take maybe 20 minutes or so, maybe 15, we'll see. And yeah, we'll be back and I'll just show you guys how to mix everything together. And we'll have us some tuna salad. Alrighty, so we are about done. The fish is nice and cold. The water is nice and cold. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out. We're just gonna mix everything in there. And then, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take my tuna and put it in my mixing bowl. And it's been submerged in all this wonderful, delicious flavor. Let me close this door. All right. So we got the tuna. We're gonna put it in our little mixing bowl, and then I always add just a little bit of the juice. And we'll save this to the side in case we want to add more juice to it. But it's really buttery, really flavorful, rich. So I got my tuna in there. Now I'm going to add my eggs. So I'm just going to add my eggs. I already peeled it while the tuna was cooling down. And then we're going to add some of our veggies. And I'm just going to add a little bit of it now, just in case I don't want to add too much vegetables to it. And then what we do is we're just going to take this. We're going to take our potato masher and pretty much just mash it all up. There we go. And it should be really easy to mash. Just pretty much gotta break apart that tuna. But once that gets all broken up, it's really easy. And then we'll just mix it around. There we go. So we got our tuna, we got our eggs, we got our veggies. It's actually looking like we could use a little bit more veggies, so we'll definitely add a little bit more vegetables to it. And then the main part of the ingredient is mayonnaise. So I got about one full jar here. It looks like it might have to take the full jar, but we'll add it just in we'll just add it in little glops, or add a little bit at a time, just so we don't want too much mayo in it, because then it'll be, I don't know, too much mayo can be bad. All right, so then we'll just add that and we'll mix it. Actually, yeah, it's looking like we might need the whole thing. I might need more mayo, but hopefully this is just the right amount. It's actually looking pretty good now. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just add the rest of this to it. Well, maybe not all of it, but a decent amount of it in here. Alrighty. And then we'll just pretty much just stir that up. And then we'll just mix all that together. And yeah, so once you finish mixing it, what I like to do is you can put it in the refrigerator, just let it sit for a while, let it really get cold. But I'm kind of hungry, so I'm gonna go ahead and plate me up some tuna salad now. And that's pretty much it. You can keep mixing it forever, however long you want to. At the very end of it, what I do like to add is I'll just add a little bit of honey, just to sweeten it up a little bit, but not too much. So you want to add just a little bit of honey. If you want to add a little bit of salt, you can. And then, of course, I add just a little bit of peppercorn at the very end. And then we just mix all that up. And there you go, tuna salad. All right, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and try a little piece of it. See how this is. So yeah, I usually just eat this as a snack with like or like a little cracker. You can use Ritz crackers or the Townhouse crackers. Any cracker's good. There we go. Yep, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and plate me up a sandwich. And yeah. So I'll just scoop that over to the side. What I'm gonna do is I got my piece of bread. Just gonna plop that down on there like that. And I'm just gonna put a nice generous amount on there. I like my tuna salad sandwiches pretty thick. And I got little chunks of eggs in there, which I personally like. If you like your eggs grounded up a little bit more, you can always go in there and just stir and chop more things up if you needed to, but this is the perfect consistency I like. So we'll keep that as is. Alrighty. We'll just add a little bit more on that side. Beautiful. Then we're gonna lay our sandwich bread right on top like that. I got a couple pickles. I was gonna add the pickles in on top of the bread, but I'll just add it. I'll just put it on the side like that. And then if you want, and this is pretty much how I eat it most of the time, just on some crackers. So I will just put that on there. And then you can put a piece of cheese on here too if you want that, however you want to do it, but this is how I do it for me. And that's pretty much it. So this is a final plate, just a quick tuna salad. I'm about to go ahead and start eating. So yeah, thanks, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tune in for the next episode. I'm still doing fish this month, so we'll have more fish-based recipes for you guys. And